Well, I have the most interesting job in the world. When I come in every morning, I never know what's going to happen. I never know who's going to come in, what they're going to need. And every hour on the hour, I'm doing something different. Perfect job for a Gemini. And this week was extra interesting. I had the most bizarre thing happen to me on Thursday that has never happened to me before. I was sitting in here, the doorbell rang, and I went to answer it, not knowing who it was going to be. And the neighbor from across the way, the architect that works in the Knights of Columbus building over there, came in and introduced himself, and he said, I need to talk to you because we have a concern. You see, we work on the second floor across the street, and we overlook your roof. And the women in my office are really getting worried. They think there's a dead body up on your roof. And I paused for a moment, and I thought, well, this is a new one. I've never had to deal with this before. And the second thought that came to my mind was, I've got to stop reading all those whodunits that I read before I go to bed. And so the third thing I thought was I have to call Kevin Kramer. He's the head of our building maintenance team, the tender loving care team. And I called him and I said, Kevin, you're never going to believe what I have to ask you today. But could you come over and get the dead body off the roof because it's disturbing the neighbors. And of course, I love our volunteers here at Unity. They're so dedicated. Kevin didn't miss a beat. I mean, he just said, yeah, I'll be right over and got a ladder, like it was the most ordinary thing in the world. And so he shimmies up the ladder, the roof, and I'm down below waiting to see what it's going to be. And all of a sudden, whoop, this thing flies off the roof and lands at my feet. It's just an old sleeping bag, which I kind of thought it was. But from across the street, it looked like a dead body. Anyway, the reason I brought this up is it really woke me up. I didn't need any coffee that day. Got my attention. And it sort of made my day. I mean, how many people, as part of their job description, have to look for dead bodies on the roof? It just gave me an excitement for a while. I was almost disappointed. You know, I just returned from vacation myself, and I find that when we're tired and we think it's because we've been working too hard, it's not because we've had too much to do. It's because we've lost excitement. We've lost our zeal. And it isn't that we need more rest, we need more zeal. And zeal is a word that we don't use much anymore. It's gone out of fashion. And I think we should bring it back into fashion. Charles Fillmore used the word zeal a lot because he knew it was one of the 12 attributes of the Christ. And at Christmas time, when we light the candles, the 12 candles of the Christ in our Christmas ceremony, each apostle in meditation, Charles Fillmore realized, was representing a different aspect of the Christ that we, like Jesus, can call forth in us to assist us with our work, with our destiny, with what we're here to do. And zeal is represented by the apostle Simon, the Zealot. Can you imagine having that name? After all these years, we still think of him as Simon the Zealot. So he had a lot of zeal. Charles Fillmore, in the Revealing Word, said that zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms. It urges the planet on its course and spurs the ant to greater exertion. It is the urge behind all things. Zeal is the affirmative impulse of existence, and its command is to go forward, keep moving. And you have to have zeal and energy to keep moving. Is that not right? But life itself can deplenish us, can take away our zeal. One of my favorite stories is an old newspaper clipping that I found about this true story. This man was vacuuming his house, and he always had clean the bird cage, so he decided that to make his job easier, he would simply vacuum the bottom of his bird cage while he was doing the rest of the living room. Well, he was a little overzealous, and all of a sudden he realized the bird had got sucked up into the vacuum cleaner along with everything else. And so he kneels down and he opens up the vacuum cleaner, and there's the bird. You know, the inside of it is not a pretty sight. This bird is just covered with globs of dirt, and he grabs the bird and he rushes over to the kitchen sink, and he uses that sprayer and just sprays and drenches the bird with water to clean it off, and now the bird is drenched. So he takes the bird and runs to the bathroom and gets a blow dryer out, and he blow dries the bird. Well, the journalist that was writing the article looked at him and he said, well, is the bird all right? And the man paused for a minute. He said, well, yeah, but he just doesn't sing anymore. Just doesn't sing anymore. And I don't know why that story tickles me so. But how long has it been since you've sang just from the joy of life? How long has it been since you've laughed until you've cried? How long has it been since you danced or just felt the zeal for living? Metaphysically, zeal is like the salt of the earth, and salt was very valued in biblical times. And Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. You are what gives this life zeal. You are the light of the world. It's in you. Salt can lose its flavor, and light is often placed under a bushel basket. When we do not recognize our spiritual natures, we lack the ability to express the power that is rightfully ours. And life can lose its luster, and our joy can be diminished. Our spiritual nature, which Jesus called the living waters within us, fills us with zeal for life. So the important thing to know is we don't get it from anything out there. True zeal we can call forth no matter what's going on. No matter what is happening, we can call forth that within us. And when we activate all 12 of the attributes of the Christ, we are empowered for anything. And we don't just use one at a time, we use all of them together. And that's why when I decided to do this series, instead of doing one a month like some people do, I thought, no, we need these all together, one right after the other, because they are used interchangeably and they are used together to support each other. For instance, if you use the faculty of imagination to imagine how you would like your world to be, you also have to call forth faith so that it will manifest, that you do believe it could happen. A fear-based perception muddies the reality, and we don't want to have fear be a part of that. The universe rearranges itself to accommodate your picture of reality. So we want our imagination to imagine the perfect world that we would like, and then to have enough faith that we can manifest it. And we have the attribute of power. All the power that we could ever want is within us. But we have to use it with wisdom and love, so it's tempered with right judgment. We don't want to let power get away on us and our ego take over to control and to bring chaos to others. We use the power of will to will things to happen, but that has to be tempered with spiritual understanding and right judgment to choose the right thing to do. And we have strength, but we also have to have illumination to release and let go of using our ego strength and to call forth the strength of the Christ within us. We call forth the zeal that is within us, but we use it in relationship to divine order so that we don't become overzealous and get ourselves out of divine order. And when we lose zeal with fear and negativity, especially if there's a dead body on the roof, we can misuse it when we do it without the wisdom, without the love, without divine order, and without right judgment. Do you see how all 12 work together? And that's why in meditation, we become aware of each attribute. Now, Charles Fillmore warned against becoming overzealous. And even Jesus did it. I call it his Indiana Jones phase, when he went into the temple with the whip and started tipping over tables and yelling and screaming and doing all kinds of things. And even the apostles were a little fearful of what he was doing and a little embarrassed. And they use the quote from Psalm 69 to explain it away. I can just hear the beginning. It is written, zeal for your house will consume me. That's why he's doing this. Overzealous. And even the apostles at times were overzealous. Simon the Zealot was his name. He was a political activist. And he and John were called sons of thunder. Can you imagine what they must have been like to be called sons of thunder? Once they asked Jesus to call down fire from heaven to destroy the Samaritans. And Jesus called them on that. He said, no, it's racist. That's zeal gone wrong. We don't want to go there. Charles Fillmore explained it this way. He said, zeal for your house will consume me means that the zeal faculty has become so active intellectually without the love and the wisdom that it has consumed the vitality and left nothing left for spiritual growth. One may become so zealous for spreading of truth as to bring on nervous prostration. And then he said a beautiful line. He said, take time to be holy. Take time to be holy. Turn a portion of your zeal to do God's will, to the establishing of his kingdom within you. Do not let your zeal run away with your judgment. When zeal and judgment work together, great things can be accomplished. And so again, the trick is not to seek zeal in the outer, but to find it within, to be aware of it, to choose it in every moment, to call it forth in every situation, and you feel the energy as soon as you do that. Charles Fillmore himself, I love to share that at age 90, he would get out of bed every morning. Poor Myrtle had to listen to this every morning. He said, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Every morning he said that. And I like to say I practice what I preach, but I have to admit I rely on coffee more than that. Maybe I should try what Charles Fillmore did. Why is that so important? Because on the spiritual path, it is zeal that fuels us, that gives us the energy and vitality to do what we came to do. Without that excitement, we just don't have the energy for it. And Jesus had so much zeal for his ministry. His first day out, when he decided to step out and be what he came here to do. And they should have had a disclaimer on this. Do not try this at home, because a prophet is never accepted in his hometown. He gets up in front of his peers and says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. I am anointed. God has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. God has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. Wow, is he excited or what? Of course, the crowd immediately took him out to stone him. Sometimes our zeal is not always accepted, especially in our hometown where we grew up. But we have to feel the joy anyway. We have to allow it to propel us forward to where we do need to be. And when these things happened to him, Jesus went to the mountain to pray, to replenish the zeal that was lost. Going to the mountain, biblically speaking, metaphysically speaking, is simply going to the higher consciousness in prayer and meditation to refill with the zeal of spirit, to be re-anointed, so to speak. So would you repeat with me just to practice? I call forth the Christ faculty of zeal in me. Together, I call forth the Christ faculty of zeal in me. It's a conscious choice. And when we take that prayer along with action, we can eliminate any zeal blockers in our life. If you're in a toxic situation, don't go there. Pray it away, bless it. If you have the perception of fear, pray it away, call back your zeal. If you have a memory of sorrow, Bless it, forgive it, pray it away, call forth your zeal once more. Repeat one more time with me. I call forth the Christ faculty of zeal in me. Together. I call forth the Christ faculty of zeal in me. And then we let that rest for a while in the quiet silence and allow that to fill us. Filling with the Holy Spirit, allowing that vitality to come back. And when we use the power of our will with the power of zeal to choose that, we have the choice to live on automatic pilot like the bird that stops singing, or we have the choice to call forth the zeal in every moment. There's an old Zen saying that I'd like to close with. When death finds you, I hope it finds you alive. Not just somebody on the roof. Let's pray in some zeal once more. We just close our eyes for a moment and allow that awareness of the Christ faculty of zeal to be ignited, to quicken itself in us, to flow in and through our body, our minds, our emotions, to make us feel alive again, to bring forth that passion for life, to propel us toward our destiny with grace, with ease, with the synchronicity of the universe and each other, supporting that which we have come to do. And we just release and let go and allow that flow. There is no effort, there is no struggle, simply an allowing. And we say, thank you, Father, Mother God, for reaffirming this in the nature of the Christ. And so it is, so it truly is. Amen.